Hello again, Andy with Handy Andy Handyman, and we're out today doing a NACA inspection bid for some repairs. These folks have listed this house for sale, and one of the agents we do some business with got it under contract with a buyer that's using the NACA program, which is great. One of the things that came up as you run through this video, you'll see the slope of the land. Water drains right around this house towards the rear of the house, and there's inspectors come through and they write this stuff up. They see things. It might be mold, which is a huge buzzword in our industry, water intrusion, all that good stuff. So the back of the house right here, we've got a couple things that we can show you. So we've got a lot of drainage down this left rear corner, and the water right now is just dropping onto this little concrete sluice down here on the side. This was added after the house was built, and part of it was done because this house didn't have gutters originally, so the water was dropping, getting into the crawl space. So they added this piece of concrete. The challenge here has been now, with the topography here, they're getting water from this downspout now runs right here. It drops underneath, so it's eroded underneath here to the point that some water is starting to seep back into the crawl space. Not a lot. So the one thing I tell you about this house is it doesn't have a mold problem at all. And we'll show you that in a second. So here we're gonna seal the edge of this sluice against the concrete. We're gonna extend this downspout out to the edge. We're going to fill underneath this where it's eroded, and then we're going to run a solid 4-inch pipe that this downspout will connect to. It'll wrap around the corner. We'll pick up this downspout here, we'll wrap it around this corner here and get down along this wall. We'll put it underground in this area here, so we'll just trench this and dig it up and get it down this way. We can't really catch this little downspout here, which is dropping some water against the wall in there as well. And then once we get into, I can't remember, she locked this, and then we'll extend it down to this area right here so it can drain across the yard. And apparently the owner told us that the neighborhood has a sewer drain back in here behind this area to catch any of the water. The whole back of this hill, you go up 3-4 houses on either side, it's all draining in this direction. But she's got nice 6-inch gutters that she just installed. I don't know if she locked this up for me again down here. She may have. Yeah, she locked this up. So I'm not going to go back into the garage, but one of the things where the inspector noted mold in the crawl space, there's a lot of powder mold down there, which is not a big deal. We'll treat it with microban and kill it off. But the real issue with this house is you can see they've got these vents all the way through. The crawl space is properly vented, but a lot of these, they seal them over. And so if you have these kind of crawl space vents, so like this one here, we lost this one when they added these steps after the fact. They filled that in with a block right there. But you can see the vent here. So there's a dozen vents around the house, and they've all been closed. What's supposed to happen is you see this tab right here. About 9 months out of the year, these need to be kept open. If they're kept open, they're fine. You won't have any mold at all in the crawl space. Most of what's down there is dormant, because in order to have active mold in any space, you need a couple of things. But the most important is you need humidity over 80%. This time of year, we don't have that kind of humidity, so the mold just dies back down. When summer resumes and you keep these closed, someone to save energy decided to insulate the back sides of these things and seal them up, and that's where the powder mold came from. And a lot of that stuff, mold could have been carried in when this house with building materials were brought in here. This house is probably built in the 60s, maybe 70s, but probably 60s. And so once you seal that stuff, once you have vents like this on your house, don't seal them up in the wintertime. You're really not gaining much from that. But you can close them and then open them back up around middle of February, March, and leave them open until about mid-November, and you'll never have a mold issue in your crawl space, at least not on this house. On other houses you might, but on this house you won't. So those are the repairs that we're talking about. The rest of them in here, some plumbing, some little electrical items, nothing really major. But once we address those issues, everybody will be happy and this house will get sold. We've been doing this stuff for 25 years in Metro Atlanta. I'm Andy. I started Handy Andy literally that many years ago. Hate to date myself. We pretty much do everything. You can catch us online at handyandyfixit.xyz or 770-912-2829. See you at the next house. Bye for now.